This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. It is one of the largest, most dynamic communities on the Suncoast, a growing center of art and culture, spring home of the Pittsburgh Pirates. But it is also the epicenter of the heroin epidemic, and the relationship between the police and the African-American community is, well, strained. So is it time for new leadership in the city of Bradenton? Bradenton Mayor Wayne Poston is seeking a 5th term in office, but he has 2 challengers who say enough is enough. We offered the mayor and his challengers a chance to debate. He says he can't make it, but they did, and tonight they will make their case. But first, our top 7 stories at 7. There's been a lot of talk, especially from you-know-who, that the election will be rigged, which is why an ordinarily routine exercise today is a little more newsworthy than it otherwise would be. It involves the supervisors of elections in Sarasota and Manatee counties. Both offices spent the day checking voting machines to make sure they are ready for Election Day. Voting machines and tabulating equipment were tested this morning for accuracy.
We're doing a public test of all the equipment that's going to be fielded in the November 8th election, and by statute we test each and every piece of equipment.
Officials tell us all the equipment is running smoothly. Early voting in Florida gets underway on Monday. The general election takes place in just under 3 weeks. Manatee County is banning campaign signs on county-owned property. County officials say the excessive signage can create operational issues. Manatee's supervisor of elections says this is the first time he can remember the county taking action of this type. A Bradenton organization helping recently released inmates could once again be in jeopardy. Just 5 months ago, the Bradenton Bridge program got help from the state, allowing it to continue operations. However, no funds are being earmarked for the 2017 fiscal year, which could force the group to shut down by July 1st. Bradenton Bridge helps recently released female inmates get back on their feet, offering counseling classes and employment opportunities. Sarasota's school board has chosen its next superintendent, and we're hearing from Todd Bowden for the first time. Among the 3 remaining candidates, Bowden was the only one already working within the district. He has been here for nearly a decade and is the current executive director of career, technical, and adult education.
The thing that's most comforting is I'm not starting as superintendent tomorrow morning. That position starts March 1st, so we have the next 3.5, 4 months to collaborate, and I really get to learn at the hand of the master. So I'm going to have a short apprenticeship with Lori White, and I'm very much looking forward to that.
Current Superintendent Lori White will retire in February. Bowden was selected out of nearly 50 candidates. What is old is new again. Sarasota County is announcing the new Venice Library will be on the site of the old one. Since mold forced the library to close in January, there have been questions about where the new building would go. Venice's mayor even brought up the idea of turning the old building into a community meeting center. Sarasota will now submit its plans to Venice's Technical Review Board. A big upgrade for a popular community park in Venice. Wellfield Park is now the first outdoor field in Sarasota County that has LED lighting, and more improvements are on the way. There will be 2 additional cricket fields that will allow more of the club's 200 members to play at the same time. It will also pave the way for teams to hold larger tournaments.
We can only accommodate 48 people at a time. So that means half the group is sitting out while one game is played, and it makes for a very long afternoon.
Work on the croquet field will be finished soon, and the City of Venice will have a ceremony tomorrow evening to show off the new LED lighting. Long-delayed work to replace a lift station in Sarasota continues, and now you can learn more about the project. The new lift station 87 in Luke Wood Park will replace lift station 7 on Pomelo Avenue. Wastewater will eventually be redirected from the old lift station to the new one. Construction isn't expected to be completed until the end of 2020, but you can get an update on it at a meeting next week. On Tuesday, the project team will review landscape plans and give an update on the traffic plan. The meeting will be held in the SRQ Media Studio on 1st Street in Sarasota at 1:30. And Bob, let's take a look at the weather.
Good evening here, Alan. I tell you what, we have a beautiful sunset just happened a few minutes ago, and looking out over Sarasota Bay, calm conditions out there, no storms around at all. Tonight's sunset again occurring just after 7 o'clock, and you can see 82 degrees. It's still pretty nice out there with a low humidity, and east and northeast winds have calmed down a little bit at 7 miles an hour. The pressure 2996. That's rising slowly. The weather headlines: tropical system developing. Yes, we're not out of the official hurricane season quite yet. We have another storm that may be developing in the next couple of days. Warm again on Thursday, but get this: a cold front is on the way, and it will be here over the weekend. That front now making its way through the central United States. You can see the storms associated with it, but nothing going on over the southeast as a result of a large area of high pressure. The evening planner looks good tonight, right around 11, should be 74 degrees under fair skies. I mentioned no rain, because all this dry air that's in place, you're going to see it covering much of the Gulf of Mexico and throughout Florida, and that will stay with us again tomorrow. So little rain chance, less than 10% really. And the forecast overnight looks like this: low temperatures above average, upper 60s by 8 a.m. And then we'll see plenty of sunshine in the morning. Temperatures warming up again tomorrow. We'll see highs well above seasonal averages, and nothing going on as far as the satellite imagery goes. Fair skies. The 7-day forecast shapes up to be pretty nice. Really, temperatures staying above average on Friday. The actual cold front starts to move in on Friday night. It should not be a factor for football Friday night. The rain chance only at about 20% for a passing shower or two. And then look for much cooler weather as we head into the weekend. We're talking about highs, finally, upper 70s and lows in the low 60s, even some upper 50s. So some folks may get a little chilly.
Delicious.
Yes, absolutely. Good way.
Thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, Bradenton voters will decide this November whether to give Mayor Poston a 5th term or put someone new in office. We'll have a look at the mayoral race when we return.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Whether you're a homeowner looking for a professional installation or a contractor looking for top quality products, Sarasota Glass and Mirror can meet your every need.
For 42 years, Sarasota Glass and Mirror has been the area's premier supplier and installer of quality glass products for your home or business. As an authorized PGT WinGuard dealer, we know how to protect your home with everything from the PGT WinGuard impact-resistant windows and doors to shower enclosures and decorative mirrors. The Sarasota Glass and Mirror team has the knowledge to tackle any project.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
If you live or work in Bradenton, how's it going? We asked because Mayor Wayne Postman wants a 5th term in office. He has 2 challenges, one of whom is one of the mayor's former police officers. ABC7's Adam Cellini reports.
As Bradenton's incumbent Mayor Wayne Poston goes for his 5th consecutive term, he'll have to face 2 challengers, one of which has made for a campaign filled with drama.
I really didn't mean to turn this into a career. That's just the way it went.
When Wayne Poston first ran for mayor, he said he only wanted to serve 2 4-year terms. That was 16 years ago.
The police department, fire department are really behind me in election and running again. They're the ones that really came to me and said, look, we don't want to lose you.
This campaign, he's confident his resume speaks for itself. Poston has helped retain the Pittsburgh Pirates and was behind the creation of the Bradenton Riverwalk, both major economic drivers for the city. But he's most proud of a crime rate he says dropped 6% this past year.
We seem to be on a roll, and I want to keep that up.
But one of his former police officers disagrees and is challenging him for mayor. Warren Merriman thinks he can do better, particularly when it comes to the area's heroin epidemic.
We were recently named as the #1 drug death capital in Florida, and that's not a rank that I want to ever hear again. So you have to get the dealers off the street. And coming from a law enforcement background, I know how to do that.
Merriman's background includes 18 years with Bradenton Police, most recently in the role of deputy chief. That ended in January after a judge ruled he falsified work hours. Seemingly in retribution, Merriman has publicly chastised the department for letting its state accreditation expire and shed light on an internal investigation into missing evidence that was being kept from the public eye.
You need to be transparent and not rely on a candidate to call it out. The police commissioner should have been transparent and let the public know.
Poston, who also serves as police commissioner, maintains he in no way mishandled either situation.
Mr. Merriman doesn't have much else. It's one of the things where you throw the stuff on the wall and see what sticks.
The third candidate says out with the old and in with the new. After serving on committees with the school district and as president of the Suncoast Latin Chamber of Commerce, 29-year-old Eleuterio Salazar is ready for public office.
People are tired of the good old boy system. People want to be done with that because this city and this county don't need to be run by developers. They need to be run by leaders who actually care and want to be represented.
Salazar has directed his campaign efforts at the impoverished areas of Bradenton, promising to be their voice downtown. He says transparency will be the mantra of his time in office, but he also wants to create more attainable housing and entertainment downtown for Bradenton's future leaders and workers.
When you ask millennials what they like to do, it's always something outside of Bradenton. And that's not what it should look like. You know, we need to attract and make sure that our millennials come back to stay here.
In November, voters will decide whether they're happy with the status quo or if they're ready for a little change in City Hall. Both challengers have also presented the idea of creating a grant writer position for the city to go after state and federal funding, something they feel Mayor Poston has underutilized during his time in office. In Bradenton, Adam Cellini, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
When we return, we'll have our live debate between the 2 candidates hoping to replace Mayor Poston.
At ABC7, it's all about being here for you. ABC7 News at 7 with award-winning investigative journalist Alan Cohn. In-depth reporting and debate on important issues and stories in our community with a featured topic of the day and a live roundtable discussion with community leaders and newsmakers. Plus a quick recap of the day's top stories and weather. ABC7 News at 7, weeknights. Now more than ever, we're here for you, Suncoast.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on a pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Getting older shouldn't mean giving up all the things she loves to do. It should just mean, well, finding new ways to do them. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to provide help with personal care, housekeeping, and of course, meal preparation.
Oh, that smells so good.
Oh, and it tastes good too.
We can provide the right care right at home.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
Welcome back. The race is on for the mayor of Bradenton. Tonight we are joined by the candidates hoping to replace incumbent Mayor Wayne Poston. We are happy to welcome candidate Warren Merriman and Eleuterio Salazar. And we should note we invited Mayor Poston on several occasions to be on this debate, but he said he could not make it. And we regret that. But why don't we begin with opening statements, and we'll give you both 1 minute each to make them. And Warren, why don't we start with you?
Okay, thank you, Alan, for having me today. And I think it speaks volumes that the incumbent mayor isn't here this evening. I've served the city of Bradenton for the last 18 years, and I served it with distinction, and I treated people with dignity, equality, and respect during those 18 years. And when I was discharged from the Bradenton Police Department, the people of Bradenton remembered how I treated them. And they asked me to run for mayor. Now, the mayor can sit there and say that the police and fire support him, but I have the people's backing, and those are the endorsements that I want. You know, the police and fire are up for contract negotiations this current year, election year. So of course they support him. But I will bring equality back to our city because it's lacking in so many avenues. And that's why I'm running.
All right, Eleuterio.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this. You know, when I decided to run, I knew it wasn't going to be a surprise for many. I was born and raised in Bradenton, and I'm a product of Manatee County Schools, graduated from Lakewood Ranch High School. I've always been outspoken in my community and very involved. What I've done the last 15 years of my life has been strictly dedicated to bettering this community. So as I became more involved in the community, and became involved in various boards, serving on the budget committee for the school district, serving on a structure board for the county commissioner, doing various things, I noticed that there was lack of leadership. There was things missing. And after my leadership with the Latin Chamber of Commerce in 2014, I said, well, you know, politics is really where I'm going. So I decided to say, you know what, I'm going to take a run for mayor. And this year, last December, we took a run.
All right, thank you very much. We are just getting started. When we return, we'll have more from both of these candidates, so stick with us.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Sarasota Opera presents Donizetti's Don Pasquale. 6 performances from October 28th through November 13th. Reserve your tickets at sarasotaopera.org.
If you have a suspicion for harboring prostate cancer, we have a way of diagnosing by using an exquisite instrument called 3-dimensional color flow power Doppler ultrasound. Using this system, we can identify abnormalities within the prostate that you could otherwise never detect. The Dottoli Cancer Center is the only center in the southeastern United States which has this technology. If you have prostate cancer, we will find it.
Our debate continues between the two candidates trying to challenge Wayne Poston for his position as mayor of Bradenton. You'll both have 90 seconds to answer the questions from this point on, and there are a lot of areas I want to get to. But we want to begin with the most obvious to anybody who lives or works or even passes through Bradenton, and that is redevelopment. In an excellent analysis of the mayor's race by Dennis Malley of the Bradenton Times, he pointed out the criticism of downtown redevelopment as disjointed, incoherent, and lacking a clear plan for the future that the majority of the city's residents will benefit from. So, what are your plans to have a coordinated, integrated development plan for the city of Bradenton? And I'll start with you.
You know, it's important that we note that we have many issues that we need to address before we get started in our redevelopment, and they can go simultaneously. But what we need to note is that we have a heroin epidemic that is on the rise, and it's here, and we need to clean up our act before we start really seriously thinking about where we're going to start placing structures. Part of my plan is to ensure that we're attracting our local businesses, the redevelopment of our entertainment district, ensuring that we have a downtown entertainment district that actually attracts and it stays open past 4 o'clock. Currently, we have a downtown area that really isn't past open in 4 p.m. At 4 p.m., most of those places close down, and you don't see much action down there. That shouldn't be how a downtown area works. If you look at other major cities that surround us, their city nightlife, anytime after 4 p.m., they're still going. You can shop, you can live, you can do many things. So I want to work with City Council to ensure that we do have a place where we can live, work, and play for all age groups, not just millennials, although that is an important age group. We need to ensure that we attract all age groups to our downtown area and ensure that we have an entertainment district that is working and feasible. But again, we need to ensure that we are cleaning up our act when it comes to the heroin epidemic and those drug rates.
Right, Mr. Merriman.
Redevelopment. One street does not define a city. They focused a lot on Old Main Street, but we have to look outside the box. We have to go to East Bradenton, which is a part of the city, and it's often neglected. But if you drive down our main corridors of Manatee Avenue and even Cortez Road, there's a lot of empty commercial storefronts. So you have to look at that aspect and bring business to our community. They've been a year now without hiring an economic development director. That could have been already in the process. And when you have all the empty commercial buildings, that's blight. 9th Street West, 14th Street, Tamiami Trail, it's blight. I mean, it's dilapidated old structures that the city has not been proactive, and there's not a strategic plan. I've developed a quality of life strategic plan where I bring that aspect into the overall 4-year accountability plan, because our mayor hasn't been held accountable for economic development or the redevelopment. It's basically Old Main Street and the riverfront, and that does not make a city. When I'm out canvassing the city, asking for votes, I look at the conditions of their neighborhoods. I look at the conditions of their streets, and you have to bring all that into one plan, and I have that plan. And I will be hiring an economic development director upon entering office.
All right. Our next question deals with the police department, and this is an incredibly broad topic, namely because you're the former deputy chief. But I also want to keep in mind there are a lot of areas we want to get to, so I don't want this to dominate the rest of our discussion. But when it comes to the police department, number one, in all my reading, it seems like both of you, your uphill battle is that the mayor is very close with the police department, and the firefighters, they do a lot in terms of canvassing, voters and residents. So you have to make your case to members of the police department and the fire department in terms of why they should support you. Deputy Chief, you know the police department better than anyone. What is your case, given what your history is there?
Well, thank you. The 18 years that I spent at the Bradenton Police Department, I worked in every department and every unit within that department. So I know it. I was the original accreditation manager. And then after accreditation, I was also the internal affairs director and the professional standards, first time. And I battled corruption. I investigated officers sleeping with prostitutes. We had a lot of issues, but I cleaned that up. And do you make enemies with the union when you're their internal affairs director? You do. That's inherent. But to say that the Bradenton Police Department and the Bradenton Fire Department support the mayor is, you have to look at the backside, and they are in contract negotiations. There's a culture in the Bradenton Police Department that still reaches out to me, but they're in fear because they saw what happened to a deputy chief that called out the prior chief on the accreditation issue. And the assistant chief that was the accreditation manager.
I just want to interject. Are you saying that the problems that you had in terms of the charges is directly related to the issues that you raised in terms of accreditation?
Absolutely. I was writing a $1.5 million grant the day before I went to the chief and told him that the Bradenton Police Department was not meeting the mandatory standards set forth by the Florida State Commission on accreditation. Subsequently, the next day, I was placed on administrative leave, Alan. And subsequent to that, the next week, they still filed that report in September, and they also filed a full compliance in January of 2015, stating that all standards were met. Right. I will have that investigated.
We'll continue on that area in a second, but Mr. Salazar, I also want to give you an opportunity to talk about how you are going to try to get the police and fire departments on your side in terms of helping you win this election.
Listen, at the end of the day, as mayor, you're the ultimate police commissioner. It's not your obligation to be their best friend, but to be their boss. And it's clear to see by Mayor Poston's ability to show up to only 2 debates out of all the debates we've had, his lack of leadership. So when we can say that a fire department, a fire union, and a police department would support a mayor with that type of leadership, we have to start questioning, is that the type of leader they really want, or is that just the type of leader they're being forced to support? My belief is that they're being forced to support, for whatever it may be. So it's not about wishing, to have their support because I need it because it's going to win this race, because my campaign is all about grassroots. We've had volunteers who've come all the way from St. Pete down to Sarasota who come to volunteer just for this campaign. So when we go out, we don't depend on anyone else but a grassroots organization.
All right, we have to take a quick break, but our debate will continue in just a moment.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case,
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us tonight, we are hosting a debate between the two challengers running for the mayor of Bradenton. They are Warren Merriman and Eleuterio Salazar Jr. Thank you. Sorry about that. And we also want to point out again that we invited Mayor Poston and he was unable to attend. And that's a shame because, Mayor, if you're listening or watching, the water is warm. Mr. Merriman, I want to pick up on our discussion in terms of your departure from the Bradenton Police Force, because people hear that you pled guilty to a charge, and I want you to give you the opportunity to put that in perspective in terms of what that was about, and whether or not you've owned up to what, if any, mistakes that you made there.
No, I've maintained my innocence from the beginning. What it was there was an agency practice where members would relieve other members to attend other events or other details. And when you have a malcontent employee that decides to basically call his boss out on an agency practice, and you provide the chief an opportunity on someone that called him out, and the mayor, essentially on the accreditation issue, that was talked about a year in advance. But after the accreditation, then it was brought to light. And so it was something that he had in his back pocket, and he brought it forth, and I fought the charges. I never pled guilty. I went all the way to trial. I was offered pretrial intervention throughout, and I refused. I took 2 lie detector tests, and I passed with 0 deception of theft from the city.
Let me interject at one point, because Adam mentioned it in his story, and it's been written about, questioning about whether this is a revenge candidacy.
Absolutely not. I'm not doing this because of revenge. One part, and I can elaborate on that prior question, is I've asked the City Council to relinquish the title of Police Commissioner from the Mayor's office by a charter change. It's antiquated. This mayor, he has no experience as a law enforcement officer, and the chief should be held accountable so we don't have cover-ups like the accreditation and the property room evidence scandal.
Mr. Salazar, let me give you a similar question in terms of the issue about whether the mayor should also be the police commissioner. Is that an inherent conflict?
You know, it's been that way, for God knows how long. Should it be the chief's position to be held responsible? I believe it should be. You know, a chief should be fully responsible because the mayor has a lot of work already on his hands, and a majority of it he can't do already. So, unfortunately, I would have to say that that title does need to be stripped.
All right, let's move on to another topic also involving the police department, and that is the relationship with the community. We have done stories just last week about the NAACP asking for information involving traffic pullovers and whether or not that there was inherent bias in the numbers of African Americans who have been pulled over in the city of Bradenton. Obviously, there is tension there. And on one hand, you do see the police department trying to work with the community. We just reported the other day about the Coffee and the Cop program, which seems like a good idea. But what would you do to lessen the strain between the community and the police department? And let me begin with you.
I think, you know, it all begins with what we've said is transparency. That's the most important thing, is we lack transparency. When we had the NAACP request those records, why they were given skewed numbers, that should have never happened in the first place. The fact that that happened sets a bad tone, sets a bad connection between those two organizations. So now you have bad dialogue between those two organizations, and it sets the precedence that they might not be trusted anymore. So they're going to continue searching and demanding answers, and they have every right to do so, because there wasn't clear transparency of those numbers. What we have to start doing is we have to start getting into our community. The Coffee with the Cop program, great. But what is that really doing? Is that really affecting our neglected areas of our community where we need them most? Is it really taking it out to MLK, to 14th Street, to 9th Street, where we need them most? You know, many people are scared or afraid to approach someone in uniform, getting them out of their cop cars, saying, hey, I see you walking. Would you like a bottle of water? Just showing that human decency goes a long way. We have to start being approachable as law enforcement officers, and understand that our community and law enforcement, it's a two-way street. We have to work together as one.
Okay, Mr. Merriman.
You know, Alan, I started that relationship with the NAACP 18 years ago, and I'm proud to be a member of the NAACP, because when you're working with that community of Bradenton, and they're often neglected by this mayor. I've responded out to homicides such as the 13th Avenue Dream Center shooting. The mayor was not out there. He likes to wear the jacket and the badge to a Coffee with Cop, but it's surprising that that's right before an election. Why wasn't it done 4 years ago or 17 years ago? There's a lot of things that the mayor's doing now to promote the police department and his candidacy. I have never done that. I've actually went out to East Bradenton, and I've worked with them, but it goes back to accreditation also. There was a standard, a mandatory standard for bias-based profiling that would have held the Bradenton Police Department accountable in regards to the traffic stops, the training of those officers, and when you let the accreditation go 2 years ago, you also let that mandatory standard go. And I think that's why we have the problem right now that we do, because they're not held accountable. And the mayor did not show up to your show to discuss the NAACP because he knows he failed.
Okay, one of the biggest problems facing Bradenton, Manatee County, the Suncoast, the state of Florida, and the entire country is the heroin epidemic. But Bradenton and Manatee County is the epicenter of this problem. Almost 900 overdose calls this year alone, and 60 of those calls were overdoses, and they were fatal. What can a mayor do to change that? And Mr. Merriman, I'm going to start with you.
I go back to my law enforcement career. I worked on a street-level narcotics unit under, at the time, a corporal named James Rackey. We cleaned up Tamiami Trail. We cleaned up the drug areas. And my goal is to have Lieutenant Rackey head up a task force, and we're going to take those streets back from the drug dealers that have regained them in the last 2 years. When I was there, we weren't known as the #1 drug death capital that we are now. And we're the county seat for Manatee County. So the mayor can say that we're number 46 ranked, but you cannot neglect that horrible, tainted image of our city. And you have to get rid of that. And that's through enforcement. But it's also through education and in our high schools, our middle schools. You have to start there, but we have to be proactive in the enforcement. He's never spoken out one time about the heroin epidemic, and we have to take action.
Mr. Salazar.
You know, before I came on the show, we were out canvassing with some volunteers, and there was a gentleman who overdosed right outside, a block, I would say, outside of an elementary school. That shouldn't be happening. That was in city limits, in my ward, particularly. This issue has gone way too far without having a mayor who has swept it under the rug, who has pretended like it doesn't exist. In fact, the very first time he mentioned it was in our last debate at the Bradenton Herald debate. And I called him out on it because I said, it's a shame that you now, after so many debates, you decide to bring it up. So how we resolve these issues? One, we need to work with our local grassroots organizations. There are grassroots organizations out in the community, like No Longer Silent, the Harm Reduction Project, that are fighting this epidemic, but need someone who's going to advocate for them. You also have a not-for-profit organizations out there that are willing to fight this epidemic, but also need a leader in the city who is willing to partner with them and engage in conversation. When we stop putting that wall up, we can start really educating our people and really start engaging in conversations.
Right. Let's move on to a different topic, and that it involves affordable housing, which is a challenge not only in Bradenton and Manatee County, but obviously in Sarasota County, and particularly among millennials. And we did a broadcast just a week or two ago about how millennials are choosing to move elsewhere that might be less expensive. Mr. Salazar, you are a proud millennial yourself. What would you do about that?
You know, like I said, we have to start creating an environment that not only supports millennials, but supports all age groups. But millennials are a huge factor because at the end of the day, they're our future doctors, our future politicians, our future broadcasters. They're our future. And so we need to create an environment that's going to be able to provide attainable housing, a place for them to enjoy themselves when it comes to an entertainment district, and also ensure that they have jobs that are attainable to them. Because oftentimes they leave here in search of a better job, and they don't come back because there's nothing for them to do here. Not that there's not a job, there's plenty of jobs. We have jobs here, but we need to add more jobs. But there's also nothing that really, really is exciting here. We have a great Riverwalk. There are some things, but we need to expand our entertainment district. We need to ensure that there's affordable and attainable housing for our millennials to be able to live in. So those are things that we need to provide a platform for them to be able to do.
Mr. Merriman.
You know, I have a 24-year-old daughter that did move back to Bradenton after graduating college, but she tells me every day, there's nothing for me here, Dad. There's no attainable housing. There is no nightlife to speak of in the entertainment district. But when you go to attainable housing, I'm a licensed realtor with Premier Sotheby's. So I'm out in the field every day working with new buyers, and they just cannot afford to live in the city of Bradenton currently. And if you go back to the rental issue, we have a lot of dilapidated houses, but we have to build incentives, and you have to have a plan to repair those houses. One of my goals is, and it's often neglected, the public works employees that we have, they get neglected. I want to offer those long-term employees to fix up those dilapidated houses in our community and keep them on with our city and show some appreciation. But the attainable housing, we've went 17 years now with no plan to build. Across from the new Manatee Players, that was a perfect opportunity to construct attainable housing within walking distance of our downtown district and the Riverwalk. They let it go. It's going to be a parking lot. That would have been a prime opportunity to make attainable housing a reality.
All right, gentlemen, we have to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to have closing statements from each one of you.
Hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? ABC7 has the information you need. Access our special Surviving a Hurricane now. Learn how to prepare a readiness plan and survival kit. Know your evacuation route. Be prepared, Suncoast, when severe weather threatens. Access our special on our ABC7 app and all our live streaming platforms.
Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku.
An important message for Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you receiving all the benefits available to you? Do you know there is money available to lower your Medicare prescription costs? Now's the time to find the coverage that's right for you at the right price. The way to do that is to explore your options. You can spend hours doing that yourself, or you can call Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you with no cost or obligation. We'll search a variety of plans from nationally recognized companies to find the coverage that's the best fit for you at a price that fits your budget, and we'll do it at no charge to you.
Plus, you may be able to save money on prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify.
Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy?
Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs.
Put our free service to work for you at no charge.
Call the number on the screen now to make sure you're getting all the benefits you deserve. Don't wait. Call now.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
If you have a suspicion for harboring prostate cancer, we have a way of diagnosing by using an exquisite instrument called three-dimensional color flow power Doppler ultrasound. Using this system, we can identify abnormalities within the prostate that you could otherwise never detect. The Dottoli Cancer Center is the only center in the southeastern United States which has this technology. If you have prostate cancer, we will find it.
Welcome back to our debate between the two candidates running to be the mayor of Bradenton. We now go to closing statements. Each of you will have a minute, and Mr. Salazar, we'll begin with you.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys having this and putting this together for us. You know, when I speak to the voters that are watching this tonight, I want you guys to realize that we have a mayor who has sat in office for 17 years, who has really only minimal projects to speak on. It's time that we take Bradenton in a new direction. And if you're ready for someone who's going to provide a fresh, new perspective, a vibrant perspective for the future, for the city, and really work on cleaning up our city and engaging our citizens in everyday government, then it's your time to elect a new leader. This is your opportunity to elect someone that is going to be your voice at City Hall, not someone who's going to sit behind a desk. So when you go to the polls starting on Monday, make sure you vote Salazar for mayor.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Merriman.
You know, I love this city. To run for mayor with even being more scrutinized from the 18 months, I think that should speak to itself, to the citizens and the voters, that I'm willing to go through that scrutiny and show that I have a plan to better Bradenton, because I believe that we can be the best city in the United States. But it comes with a plan. I have a 4-year accountability plan that I will present upon being elected to the citizens, either online or in hard copy, where they're going to be able to check my accountability for my entire 4 years. We've went 17 years without accountability in our mayor's office. That's wrong. I'm a people person. I've knocked on over 3,500 doors personally and asked for the votes. And today, I will ask for their votes. I'll appreciate their votes, either if they vote by mail early or at the ballot on November 8th. I would appreciate it.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. And Mayor Poston, we wish you were also here. When we come back, we'll have a setup of the debate tonight, along with an interview with ABC political commentator Cokie Roberts.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
You might have heard there is another debate taking place tonight, the final presidential debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Trump is trailing in the polls as he continues to complain the election is rigged. Analysts say for Trump tonight is make or break.
I think Donald Trump has to win, and he has to win big tonight. He's behind, as we've seen in the polls, in all the key states and nationally in this. He has to change the dynamic of this race, and the only place he can do it from now until Election Day is tonight.
Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton has been off the campaign trail for days in preparation for tonight's debate. Tonight's debate begins at 9 o'clock here on ABC7. Joining us for more on tonight's third and final presidential debate is ABC News political commentator Cokie Roberts. Cokie, thanks for joining us once again on ABC7 at 7. Let me ask you this. There's been so much talk about what Donald Trump has to do tonight. In your memory, is there any history of a third presidential debate having that kind of impact on the race?
No. Absolutely not. But this entire campaign, you can ask me kind of any question about this campaign, and my answer will be no. In my memory, has this happened before? No, because Donald Trump, in the last two debates, after each performance, his poll numbers have gone down. And so he needs to stop that hemorrhaging and find a way to level them off at least and raise them at best. And so I think everybody's going to be watching to see whether he can do that or not. I mean, the truth is that there are majorities of people in this country who say that it is time for a change. They do want change in Washington, but they don't think he's the change that they want. And so if he can convince them that he is, that would be very beneficial to him and very, very beneficial to candidates running on Republican tickets all over the country. I noticed that your Republican Senate candidate, Marco Rubio, has said that he thinks Donald Trump is just wrong when he's talking about this rigged election, that it will not be a rigged election. But that has been a theme that Trump is really out on the stump saying over and over and over again. He has said it in both of the first two debates, and he's likely to keep it up tonight.
Marco Rubio has also said it is wrong for Republican candidates to talk about the WikiLeaks emails because today it's Democrats.
It could be them. Next one could be them, right.
But
right.
You fully expect that Donald Trump is going to try to capitalize on what the embarrassing issues in those emails tonight, correct?
Of course he will, and actually it would be political malpractice if he didn't. And I suspect that Chris Wallace will do that as well. But look, Hillary Clinton knows that's coming and presumably is prepared to answer it in some fashion that will be at least moderately acceptable to voters. Maybe not, maybe it took her forever to come up with even, a tiny answer about the emails when you would have thought she would have been there a lot sooner. But by tonight, she must be there. It would be very surprising if she's not.
Quick question, quick answer. Does Hillary Clinton play it safe tonight and stay with that lead, or does she try to take on Donald Trump if he goes negative?
I think she tries to play it safe if she can. First of all, that's her temperament anyway. But secondly, she is in the lead, and that's a safer place to be. But if he starts to go on the attack, I suspect that we'll hear some attacks back. And she's been effective at that because he's turned out to be very thin-skinned in these debates, which was not something we expected.
All right, Cokie Roberts, thank you very much. Cokie Roberts is a political commentator for ABC News. When we return, we'll bring you a look at our primetime headlines.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
It's a special time of year here on the Suncoast. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. It's stone crab season. We'll get a lesson from one of our favorite chefs on how to eat them, cook with them, and what makes them different. It is also candy season, and our fitness expert has some scary stories about Halloween treats. Plus the beauty of the Florida landscape and Oasis Cafe in the kitchen.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
ABC7's My Suncoast News app is better than ever with a brand new design that's faster and easier to use. Download our free My Suncoast News app on your mobile device at your app store of choice. Powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, AND services.com.
Well, unfortunately, our mayoral debate went long, so we are foregoing primetime headlines tonight. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
Ugly.
Fat.
Big eyes.
Dweeb.
Useless.
Things that should never be said.
Shut it down. We are all beautiful.
We are strong. We are powerful.
Be loud. Be proud.
We have the power to put an end to bullying.
So go ahead, be you.
Be bold. Be different.
Be inspired.
Choose to stand up against bullies.